Hi everyone, welcome to TSAM Digital. My name's Amy and today I'm joined by Brent Knapp, who is Head of Data Management at SimCorp North America. So welcome Brent, it's great to have you.
Oh, thanks Amy, it's great to be here.
Okay, so today's a bit of a spotlight on what you're doing with regards to data management in terms of helping the buy-side asset management community. So just to set the scene, would you mind telling us a little bit about your career background and a little bit about what your company does?
Sure. I've spent about 20 years in the financial technology space, really focused in the middle and back office, accounting, data management, compliance. But for the last decade or so, I've been very much focused on data management and helping organizations to become much more efficient and streamlined processing and manufacturing of their market and reference data.
Fantastic. So with regards to that then, could you tell us a little bit about what investment management professionals should look out for when reassessing their data management operations?
Yeah, of course. I think from my perspective and that of my colleagues, we like to break it down into a couple of different pillars. And I think first and foremost, you want to think about data quality. Obviously, you need to make sure that the information you're using is of the highest quality and that you can depend on it and that it can be traced back to its origins and you can understand everything that's happened to that data over its life cycle. And obviously with that comes governance and the ability to understand who can touch the data, who can edit the data, and then how do you go back and trace that data lineage and look at that audit trail to understand exactly who is touching it and when, and what is that meant for the downstream use of that particular data.
Absolutely. So when we talk about the whole cycle of data quality and governance then, what kind of technologies and solutions are out there to really start from the beginning, look at the source of data and kind of monitor it the whole way?
Yeah, so I think, traditionally there have been a few different ways that organizations have been able to go about processing and handling and manufacturing those data sets that are mission critical and used every day for so many different purposes. Getting away from those traditional models where you would deploy a piece of technology or you might even use a cloud-based solution, increasingly there are other options. And one of those options is to use a managed service. Somebody that comes in with a team of experts, somebody that essentially becomes part of your team that can take on those daily processes and tasks that aren't necessarily value adds for your organization, but are absolutely critical to the success of your organization. And as data has become more commoditized, it makes sense to look at how you can consume that data in the most efficient way possible, but how can you also consume it so that it's ready to use when you do so, without having to cleanse and scrub and run a lot of different processes over the top of that data. And using a managed service eliminates a lot of that noise and allows our clients to really focus on the quality of the data, who's using it, and are there better ways to be using the data.
Yes, very true. I think we often talk about technology in such a generalized way, but it's good to think about what the true benefits really are. So on that note then, can you tell us a little bit what sets a managed service apart and some of the outcomes that perhaps your clients have faced when they've adopted this as opposed to just using a different automated system, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen a number of different outcomes and some of them are, a little bit harder to quantify in that you have access to a team of experts and you're not having to necessarily go out and find those people for your team and you're not having to train them or retain them. But at the same time, you're always looking for those hard numbers to prove out the value of the work that's being done. And we're really happy to say that our clients are saving, upwards of 30% on their overall data management costs, and that they're also able to decrease the amount of time and effort that it takes to implement change. And we're seeing about a 50% decrease in those work efforts, which is really substantial, and not only in terms of the cost savings, but just in terms of the resources and the timing needed in order to implement those changes. So our clients have been very happy and found that they are much more focused on the end outcome of their business than worrying about cleansing and understanding what data has come in the front door.
That's great. And obviously, I know you offer the solution, but when we look back at the kind of trends as to what problems the asset managers and investment professionals are facing, can you just tell us a little bit about some of the most common data challenges that you see and maybe some of the frequent mistakes that people are making, whether they're using a managed service or other types of technology or not?
Yeah, I think what we find is that for many firms, the issues start around governance, in that you have different people who are accessing different sets of data across the organization instead of using that single version of the truth that is so important. And so really getting your arms around what data sets is the organization using, making sure that they're being sourced in one place and that that data is being distributed downstream really seems to be the first issue that people are trying to tackle when they look at these types of projects and initiatives. And then beyond that, it's how do we become as flexible and as scalable as possible? If we want to acquire a new line of business, if we want to move into new geographies, if we want to launch new products, how can we do that as quickly as possible? And using a managed service allows a lot of our clients to do that, because for us, it's a matter of pivoting and springing up resources rather than having to implement and put new people on the ground. So for us, it's much more of a service that allows people to turn to us for expertise versus having to source and build that expertise in-house, which is obviously much more time-consuming and cost inefficient.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a necessary starting point to really build things at scale and kind of overhaul the governance structures completely. So I think it sounds like it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of interest in the community is a different approach to the traditional view of data management.
Well, that's fantastic. And obviously, we're excited to have your company as a partner and a sponsor at TSAM East Coast. So looking forward to hearing more about this at the panels and also again on this channel for future videos. So thanks so much for a little glimpse into what you're doing and a bit of the challenges there. So thanks for joining us, Brent.
Thanks, Amy. We look forward to seeing everybody at TSAM.
Thanks. And yes, you can meet them in person on the 6th of October in New York. So be sure to check out their booth and register for our event now. Thanks everyone for watching.